Eliana, we can't hear you. I think you're
Yeah.
talking.
There we go. There we go.
I'll start over. So my name is Eliana Mendoza. Welcome to Google Camp. If you guys want to go on social media and hashtag IE Google Camp, you can do that for Twitter and Instagram. And if you need anything with the help desk, just go find my name in the chat room, Eliana Mendoza, and I can go ahead and help you. And the title of the session is Level Up, Bring Your A Game to Blended Online Learning with Screencastify. And we have your presenters here, L.Kirchhoff and S.Patel from San Bernardino County.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks, Eliana. We're going to get started right away because I know we have a lot that we want to cover and we want to jump right into it. So we're going to be using the chat feature a lot today. So if you don't have your chat open, you're going to want to do that. And I'm going to start sharing my screen and we're going to just jump right into this presentation. So here we go. So this is Level Up Your Screencasting with Screencastify. And when we start out our presentations, there's a couple things I want you to notice. I am putting closed captioning down at the bottom. It's not a perfect closed captioning, but it is there for you as well. These sessions are being recorded. So just wanted to let you know that this is recording and you are going to be able to grab a copy of the slide deck. Now, in the materials that I provided through Sketch, there is a PDF version of this, but if you want to have your own copy that has everything hyperlinked in it, then I recommend that you grab this bit.ly link, and Sonal, I'm sure, already has it in the chat, but what we're going to be doing right now is really looking at Screencastify as a way to engage your students, to build community, and then also use it as a feedback loop. And if you're familiar with Screencastify already, we're going to go through several levels today. And we are going to level up all the way through some app smashing. So we're gonna jump right into it right here. And if you don't have the bit.ly, don't worry, Sonal will keep putting it into the chat for you. So, moving right along, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Laurel Aguilar-Kirchhoff. I am the Digital Learning Project Specialist at San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools Office. And my email is on this slide. Also, if you're in the Twitterverse, please give me a follow and I will definitely follow you back. We can continue these conversations, as well as our SBCSS EdTech is there as well. And so I have a couple of things on here. I am certified a master screencaster and a genius through Screencastify, and you can become that as well. I'm also certified through Leading Edge Online Blended Teacher, which we have some opportunities for you to have that as well as so many other things. But I just wanted to let you know that I do have a lot of background in screencasting and specifically with Screencastify. I'd love for Sonal to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. My name is Sonal Patel. I'm the coordinator for digital learning innovation at SBCSS. I'm fortunate enough to work with your trainer today, L.Kirchhoff. I get to work with her every single day. Really excited to be here as your chat moderator. If you could please continue to mute yourselves and use the chat feature to ask any questions or to make any comments, and I will ensure that I moderate that for you all. And as with any other meeting etiquette is always appreciated. Again, happy to be here with you today. I know Laurel is super stoked to be doing this. She is Screencastify guru. She introduced herself as genius. She's genius in many other ways as well. So go for it, Laurel.
Thank you, Sonal. So we do a lot of presentations together, and one of the things that we love about working with teachers is we can talk about some really specific ways that it's not all tool-based. We're really going to talk about some pedagogy and some best practices on how we can use this tool in a way that's going to be meaningful for you. So we want to build a little community right now because there's almost 250 people in here, and we want to know what kind of healthy habit have you developed during the time of COVID? So if you can go to menti.com, you can do this on your phone, and you just enter the code 564137 and just tell us one healthy habit that you have developed. And as always, there's a method to our madness, so we just want to build a little bit of community with you. So I'm actually going to go out of full screen here so we can look at these results. So let's see what kind of healthy things you're doing. Daily yoga. Oh, I wish I could do that. I mean, I guess I can. Quality family time, DIY projects, calligraphy. Oh, that's something I've always wanted to do. Laughing is excellent. So right now you can see everyone in the room that's participating. And if you're not familiar with Menti, it's a free product that you can use. There's lots of different ways that you can use it, but right now we can just see what everyone is doing. Hand washing, grandparenting, family dinners, cooking at home. I've been doing a lot of cooking at home. I know Sonal has also. Stretch breaks, daily walks. If you are on Twitter, I highly recommend the Walking Ed. They're a great Twitter group to join, and they're really encouraging on getting that exercise and that daily movement. So I would highly recommend checking out the Walking Ed. So while I would love to keep going with this, and it looks like I'm going to have to come back to it, this is a way I'm just having a quick little warm up at the beginning to build community, to see who's in the room, and to give everyone a chance to participate in a way that maybe we don't have in a session like today. So I'm going to go back to our slides here. Thank you for participating in that. If you want to know more about building community and community strategies, Sonal is actually doing a presentation on that tomorrow and going to go into a much deeper dive. But and that's going to be the same time, 10:30. So if you want to check that out. So moving forward, I want to go over our levels for you today, because we are going to level up. We're going to start with Screencastify and the setup features and the benefits of screencasting and why I particularly love this product. Now, through San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools office, we do not endorse one product over the other. Sonal and I use all sorts of webcasting tools. We use Zoom, we use WebEx, we use Google Meets, and those are for more of our face-to-face. But for an actual screencasting, we know that there's a lot of different products out there, but we do really love the simplicity and ease of using screencasting. So we're going to start with that. Then we're going to talk about making the most of your screencasts, and then using Screencast, leveling up, doing a little bit of app smashing there, and then our bonus round is some new features. So jumping right into the benefits of screencasting. There's so many, and I don't want to read these slides to you. You have access to these slides, but I think the biggest benefit that I found in my classroom, so to give you a little bit of a background on me, I taught middle school for 20 years. You know, if you're not a middle school teacher, I always get it from the elementary and from the high school teachers. I'm like, you're crazy, but I loved middle school. That was my niche. I taught both science, physical science, and US history. And I started screencasting for my students when I was going to more of a blended or flipped classroom about 7 years ago. And it really just gave me an opportunity to talk to my students in a different way, to have them be able to go back and rewatch it. I could house it. At first I was using Canvas, then I was using Google Classroom, and I could link it right in for my students, and I could do all of these things. There are some key considerations on this slide that I'd like you to take a look at, but we do want to get you participating. So in the chat, if you would write down some benefit, or just type in some benefits that you see from screencasting in your classroom or your situation, that would be amazing. So just, it says in the spring, but like, what benefits did you see if you tried it in the spring, or what benefits do you think that could actually work for your classroom? So we're gonna do that in the chat, and then Sonal's gonna tell us some that are standing out. And I know she's furiously typing away. I'm gonna open up my chat as well.
Yeah, I see so many great responses here. We've got student engagement, re-watching, reviewing learning, self-pacing, helping support students with disabilities, some asynchronous learning ideas, Laurel. I think there's just been some really great ideas here. Instructions and directions that are specific to students. Thank you for that, Natalie. Accessibility for students and parents, helping parents with Screencastify.
I think directions for parents are one of the hidden gems of screencasting and creating little screencasts. And just to walk them through, it's almost like you can create a virtual back to school night that your parents can access anytime. And that's really, really a great little tool and a way that you can use screencasting. So when we're talking about some of the considerations on this slide, just keep in mind when you are making your screencasts, we want to make them short, to the point. As anything we do online, we want to have these manageable chunks, really hit the key points and the most important information only, and use it really as a way that you can provide clarity and save yourself some time and answer common questions. And I know that, Sonal, those are some of the ones that you said in the chat as well. So why Screencastify? There's a couple of things that I really want to pick up and talk to you about here. And this is a screenshot from Screencastify. They go into a lot more detail on this, but something that I really believe in and really talk a lot about is student data privacy. And Screencastify is compliant with all of both the federal and the California state laws. So you have COPPA, HIPAA, FERPA, and student data privacy is very, very important, especially in the online space. And they make it very clear in their privacy permissions that they will not sell or, as is becoming more and more popular, rent out your data or your students' data. So that's particularly important, and one of the reasons I firmly believe in using Screencastify. It's also highly integratable with Google, and it's very easy to use. So our little pro tip here, and this is something that we always talk about, and I try to caution, before you use any app like Screencastify or Google Classroom, but maybe Edpuzzle or Wakelet, please check with your IT department. Always ask before you app. Our Chief Technology Officer, David Thurston at SBCSS, that's his tagline, and I've adopted it, but it's so important, not only for your privacy sake, but also for your credentialing. And so I'm not gonna get too down that rabbit hole, but just know that this tool does protect you and your students. So right at this point, I actually want to ask you, because you're here, what you would prefer. And let's put this in the chat. Would you like me to start out with a live demo, or that's option one, or would you like me to walk through all of the slides first and then show you the live demo? So I'm going to give you, this is like choose your own adventure, right? So what would you like? Option one, I go through the slides first, or option two, live demo first? Let's see.
I'm mostly getting a live demo, Laurel.
Okay.
Unanimously for sure. Yeah, demo.
Demo. That's
and
my
that was
favorite. I was hoping you were going to say that. So
that was your hunch, right?
That was my hunch, but I always like to get, that's one of the things about presenting online is Sonal and I constantly miss the interaction with being with the teachers. So yes, let's do the live demo first, and then we can run through and clarify anything. And that's the beauty of these slides, is that you can go back and it's really gonna walk you through step by step. So again, I'm gonna jump right out of here and let's do the live demo. All right, so first things first, what we need to do, and I'm gonna see if I can move this over, is you're going to need to install Screencastify. And the easiest way to do that, I actually uninstalled mine so I could show you this in real time, is you're just going to go to Google Chrome Web Store. So obviously you're going to want to be logged in to your Chrome account. You can see that you are logged in because you'll see my picture there, but when you're logged into yours, you'll be logged in. Now, There's a couple of different ways you could do this. Again, check with your IT department to make sure it's okay that you download it. I know that our IT is okay with it. So I'm gonna go right here to the Chrome Web Store. And I'm just gonna search the store. And I'm gonna type in Screencastify. All right, so it's gonna pop up. Now, there's a lot of different kind of rip-off versions or other versions. Just make sure you're gonna want the arrow with a little movie camera inside. So it's screencastify.com, and you just click on Add to Chrome. It's going to bring this up and ask you for your permissions. Can I add this? And you click on yes, add extension. If you've never added an extension before, it's really easy. It's gonna check it, and then once it's approved, it's going to add this little icon into your address bar. And these are all of your Google Chrome extensions. You can see I have Edpuzzle, Nearpod, Bitmoji, all sorts of other things on here. So it's there, and now I'm good to go. I don't need the Chrome Web Store anymore. I'm gonna be gone. Sonal, I'm not sure why I'm not seeing it on my,
Oh, try and click on the 3 dots in the corner.
I got it, yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Sometimes when you have a lot of extensions, you just have to click and that'll open it up. So here it is. I clicked on the icon. It's now in my extension bar up here. So I just clicked in that. I could see all of my extensions. You can also, like Sonal said, click on the 3 dots, but I just went down. And it's gonna ask you to go ahead and sign in with Google, because this is a product that works with Google. Of course, my computer's gonna think a little bit as we're doing this, right? And it's gonna ask you for permissions. So you're going to want to have your camera and your microphone, since this is a screencast, right? And you're also definitely going to want the drawing and annotation tools. You're gonna see how awesome those are. Click on next. Again, there's lots of layers of security here. Yes, you're going to want to allow it. And then it will start loading it all in. Hooray, right? You're getting started. So I'm logged in with the Google account that I was signed into. So I was signed into my SBCSS account. So that's the Google account that I'm logged into here. Sometimes when we have multiple Google accounts, like our home account and our work account, we might accidentally log in with one or the other. So you just want to be a little bit aware of that. And it's also going to give you some walkthrough. So it says, click on the icon to get started with Screencastify. So I need to get my icons. So again, just not, there we go. So my full access. So I'm going to click right here. And it's going to bring up this wonderful little tool. So every time now that I want to record through Screencastify, I'm just going to click on the icon in my address bar. Now this is the cool part, because there's a lot of different options here. And again, I know that I'm going pretty fast. All of this is broken down for you step by step with screenshots of every single stage going through on that slide deck. So again, live demo. So you have some options. You can record using just your browser tab, which means you'll have a picture in the corner, and you can have your screen and then your picture. So you can say hi to everyone, have your voice, have your face there. If you all want, you can also, and make sure you toggle over, turn on your webcam. You could just have your desktop. If you don't want your face, but you just want your desktop and your voice, you can do that as well. Or if you want your webcam only, you can do that where it's just gonna be your face. So I'm gonna show you what these look like in real time. But before I do that, I wanna walk you through a couple of other features on this little drop-down box. This is called the sandwich. Ooh, that's a fun name, right? So if you click on the sandwich, it's going to open up more of another menu for you. So it tells me what I'm logged in with. I can access my previous recordings. I can look and see what subscription I have. Screencastify is free. They do have a paid version, but there is a free version that's pretty robust. What options I want to have, I'm gonna click on options just so I could show you. Where do you want your videos saved? I recommend it's automatically going to save to your Google Drive. I recommend just leaving that. You can have notifications, keyboard shortcuts, recording settings, your privacy, and then there's some advanced ones which I really highly recommend you don't touch. Those are more for your IT section. So that's your options. But you can, again, that's all gonna be in that sandwich, and you can take a look at the editor. They also have a really great section, ooh, I do wanna spend a second here, on classroom resources. Okay, so they have a ton of resources for you that are already done, and they have the Beginner's Guide to Screencastify. It's you're getting it, but in my version of it, it's more of a written, instead of all of the screenshots, it's just kind of written out. But it's a great resource. If you want to do a deeper dive and get a badge, you can take the Master the Screencast course. It takes about an hour, and it walks you through and you just practice. So if you're interested in really digging in and practicing, that's a great course. They also have 50 ways to use Screencastify in your classroom. This is from Matt Miller. If you don't know who he is, follow him on Twitter. He's great. There's other people that also contributed to this ebook, but it's a free ebook on how you can use Screencastify in your classroom. And they go through different strategies for all of the different grade levels, all of the different subject areas. So it's a really great resource. And then if you want to really get googly, you can take the Screencastify Genius course. And this one is taught by Alice Keeler, and it really talks more in depth about how to integrate with Google and G Suite. So tons of really great stuff here. One thing I do want to point out is you can have your students, if you're going to have your students use Screencastify, which again, you can talk to your IT department about pushing that extension out for them if they have Chromebooks. But they have a junior course, and this is really short. It takes about 10 minutes, and it goes through some basics of digital citizenship and also how your students can use screencasting wisely. So just getting into all of that interesting information for you. So let's get some more hands-on here. I want to show you these features here. Again, I can easily access my recordings. I can find my notifications, and I can go to my settings right here on this top part. I do want to click on this show more options, because you do get a countdown timer when you're ready to do a screencast, and that kind of gets you ready to start recording, and I'll just count down. You can change it from 3 seconds, you can do 5 seconds or 10 seconds. For me, I like the 3. So I'm gonna show you webcam only, and I'm just gonna hit record, and I'm gonna record this right now. Hi everyone, I'm making a quick screencast and stop. Okay, now unfortunately that stopped me sharing my desktop, but that's okay. I'm gonna jump right back in. All right. Oh, I keep doing it. I keep hitting the wrong stop, but that's okay. We're gonna jump again, right back in. And you can see that it's still recording me. It's still recording my Screencastify preview webcam as I am talking. And I want to make sure, and I've never done this part live before, so I'm going to stop here and I'm going to jump back out because it's going to keep recording my big giant head. Let's see if I can get this to stop. Here we go, down at the bottom. I couldn't see it because, you know when things happen and you're like, hey, tech grit, this is it. So Sonal, can you see this now?
I can see your face only right now.
Okay.
We trying to share your screen?
Yeah, it keeps kicking me out. How's this?
Yes, we could see it now.
Perfect. Well, that's what happens in a live demo, and you know what? I used to get really upset when things didn't go perfectly when I was presenting, and now I'm like, you know what? That's life. This is what happens in the real world, right? So this is what happens when you stop. So you can see my big giant head, and this is my screencast. So it automatically is going to open it up into the video editing section. And this is just called the video page. And if I wanted to show it to you, you could hear it. There's a couple things that I want to point out here. Number one is going to show untitled, the date and the time. You're definitely going to want to change that and be really, really, really careful on how you title your screencasts. If you title everything Google, then in your Google Drive, it's gonna say Google, 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 and you'll have to try to like find which one you're looking for. So I like to name mine starting with the date, and then I give a really short descriptor. This is really important. It worked really well with my students as well. If I was assigning this in Google Classroom, I would put the assignment title here, but I can put 7, and today's the 22nd, and then screencast demo. So really important on how you rename it. Otherwise, you're just going to get untitled. The other thing that I want to point out to you is I can edit it right here. When it opens up, when I hit stop, I can open it right here. Now this is called the lightning editor if I want to take some off of the end or the beginning. I can use the lightning editor. It's not a very, it's just if you mess up or you're giving yourself a little bit at the beginning or the end that you want to, take off. And then you can just save the trim and it'll automatically adjust it. Opening it in the editor, this is actually going to be, I'm making a quick, there you go. You can check yourself there. You can open it up into the editor. This is actually an advanced or paid for feature, so I don't want to go too far into that because I don't want to show you something that's not part of the free version. If you are absolutely mortified by your screencast or you're like, oh, take one, right? I don't like this screencast, you can dump it right away and just delete it. You don't have to go into your drive and delete it. In fact, I'm gonna delete this one because, yeah. But here you can see all of my recordings, and you can also see why it's so important for the names. You can see I just have like, gifts are your friends. Well, that's actually probably a good title, but screencasting video, I mean, those aren't great names. And so I would have to really scroll through all of my recordings to find out, what I need if I wanted to attach it to my Google Classroom. So going back in and taking a look at the live demo, again, it's super easy to use. And I always caution people when you are starting out with a new app or a new tool, play around with it. You don't have to be perfect. Get to know it, and you're not gonna break the internet. Like, it turns out you're gonna be okay. And I think it's also a good tip when you're recording something, if you stumble over a word here or there, just keep going. The more you practice and the more comfortable you get in front of the camera, it's gonna make it a lot easier for you. So again, when we're talking about these options, you're gonna see this coming up. So I'm actually gonna jump out of the live demo right now and go back into the slides because I do wanna get into some other things. Sonal, this is a great part for me to stop and see if there's any questions or.
We had a really good point about can you upload this to YouTube? And
yes.
The answer to that is of course yes, and you can also add closed captioning to that. So we really do advise that people do that.
Absolutely. And I'm actually going to, that's a great point. I'm going to bring that up right now.
And then also, Laurel, if you can answer this later, I know that you're going to do a little bit about app smashing with Seesaw. There's a lot of interest with integrating Screencastify with Seesaw.
Yes, that is on the list. So that was a quick little live demo. It didn't go exactly as planned, but you know what? Hopefully you got something out of it. And we're going to go through those steps. So again, I'm not going to read these slides to you. We're going to kind of fast forward a little bit through level 1, but just knowing the extension, give permissions, make sure you get everything signed in with your Google, allow and allow and allow. Hooray. And then this goes into a lot more detail on that actual recording menu for you. So you'll have access to this, and you can make sure that you have everything that you need. Something that I didn't show you in the live demo, and I apologize for that, but I do want to talk about the annotation tools. And the annotation tools are really, really important. You can go through and you can see the annotation tools right here on the screen. There's a couple of different mouse features where you can add a different emphasis when you have a click on your screen. You won't see it when you're recording it, but in your video, it'll add that emphasis for you. There's also a pen where you can change the color, you can write on your screen, you can circle, you can take your camera on and off of the screen. So the annotation tools are really great. And I wanted to add a little chat question here on how annotation tools can help with student understanding. So how do you think these annotation tools we could add that into the chat? And then this screen right here, while you're adding that in the chat, I just want to show you, you stop recording, you press stop, and that's when it's going to open it back up into the video editing page. And then I'm going to show you that in a little bit more detail coming up.
Sorry,
So
Laura, one question that I had about, I think you were going to stop me anyway, but question about Google Drive and how these Screencastify videos just save automatically to Google Drive. Do you want to just comment on that?
Yeah, you said it. They automatically save to your Google Drive, and you can access your Google Drive. Since you're logging into Screencastify with Google, for me, by accessing them through my Drive is not always the best for me. In fact, I'll show you on my screen right now. For me, the best way to find all of my recordings is to go to the icon. And here, it's going to take me out. Come on. Here we go. My computer's just running a little slow. The best way for me is to access them right here through my recordings. And when I click on my recordings, it's opening them up. It's actually opening up my Google Drive, and I'm seeing everything in my Drive through the recording. So for me, that was a really great way and an easy way to access them instead of like searching through my Drive for the recording.
Awesome.
I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that's perfect. And then as far as annotation goes, we had some good suggestions as to being able to point out certain things to your students, you know, that you are trying to kind of give direction to. That was one suggestion.
I think that for me also, I could call attention to something. I'm like, this is really important, and circle it. And then the great thing is you also have an eraser. So if you make an annotation, you're like, oh, I didn't really want that. It doesn't affect your slides. It's only annotating in the video. So
and I love this one, Laurel. Someone said about using tools like highlighting or circling will allow teachers to check for understanding.
Absolutely. And I think it's a way also to, when we're trying to get our students, you know, really pay attention to this one point, we can go over it and really save ourselves some time later when we're showing maybe some, you know, important points. So this one, the pro tips for editing and sharing, I showed you this in the live demo. Again, we're not endorsing that you go out and you pay for anything. The Lightning editor, I actually don't go in and use my editing very often, my advanced editing. So that's really something that you check with your district. You might have those available. So let's talk a little bit about editing and sharing. And in fact, let's really just talk about sharing. When we're done and we love our video and we're like, yes, we're ready to share it, there's a couple ways that you can share it. Number one is you can get the shareable link. If you set it to private, obviously only you can see it. Public, I don't recommend unless you want everyone to see your videos. I use unlisted, only the people that have the link can view it. So they have all of these different ways that you can share your video. I usually use, if I'm using Google products, mainly the shareable link. But you can share it directly to your Google Classroom, publish it to YouTube, get an embed code, send it in an email, and also generate a QR code. You can also download as an MP4. You can do audio only, or as you saw earlier in this presentation, you can create a GIF, which if you're not sure about GIFs, I'm gonna show you that in a moment. So there's lots of ways that you can share this in a really easy way, and it's all right there for you. The integration with Google Classroom is something I want to spend a little bit more time on, because I'm not going to get into a Google Classroom training, but this is how you would do it. So you click on your share to Google Classroom. It's going to open up your Google Classroom. You pick which class, and then you can decide your action. If you want to create an assignment, make an announcement, create material, however you want to do it. And then once you have it in one classroom, you can share it to multiple classrooms throughout the Google Classroom. So if you are using Google Classroom, this is very easy to integrate. So we're getting to the point about app smashing, and I know that our time is limited. I could go on and on about Screencastify, but since there was some particular interest, I highlighted these three. There are other apps you can smash with, but I do want to talk about each of these very, very briefly. So with Flipgrid, students can share their screencast through Flipgrid. You just import it as a video, and then you can give that personalized feedback. We know that Flipgrid is also safe. It's a Microsoft product. And if you want to know more about integrating with Flipgrid and app smashing there, in your link that we gave you earlier to access to these slides, you can click and you can go and find out more about Flipgrid. If you know Ben Cogswell, he is an amazing kindergarten teacher. He's also like a tech guru. He's on Twitter. He is a huge proponent of Seesaw. And so he does a really great, much better information about Seesaw than I could ever do. And you can click here, but you basically can record little mini lessons, record it with Screencastify. The only thing here in the caveat with Seesaw is you do have to download it to your computer, and then you upload it to your activity in Seesaw. So just be sure to save it, and then you can go through. He really walks you through step by step on how he uses it with the littles. Again, I mentioned, I think that he's a kindergarten teacher. So if you want to know more, you can click on that and it'll take you to Ben and his wonderful tutorial with Seesaw. And finally, near and dear to my heart is Edpuzzle. If you're not Edpuzzling yet, it is a great way for you to assign videos to students. You can take any video and make it into an assignment. You can ask questions, you can check for understanding, you can really do some amazing things with videos. And Edpuzzle and Screencastify, they work so well together, and you can share directly to your Edpuzzle account. Again, it's free, and you can upload your video, and I do have a tutorial there for you as well. So if you want to know more about that, again, just click on these little links and that will take you in. Sonal, questions at this point?
No, sorry, my dog decides to go off just when you ask that question. I think that everyone's good. There was a lot of interest about Seesaw, so thank you for mentioning that.
Absolutely.
There was a question earlier on about closed captioning and what that is. I think I mentioned it in, I wrote about that in chat, so you're good.
All right, so let's talk about some best practices when you're actually going to do your screencast. Really keep it simple with the backgrounds. You don't want to be too busy. A lot of times, the backgrounds can be distracting, and we also want to, we want the focus to be on what we are saying as teachers and trying to communicate to our students or our parents or even in professional development. So having a simple background is really important. Your mouth gets kind of dry after going through and doing these screencasts. So I always recommend hydrating. And really, especially if you're doing some kind of clarification or direct instruction, making a quick little outline of what you want to say and really hitting those brief points that are important that you really need them to hone in on is important. Now with the free version of Screencastify, you are limited to 5-minute chunks. So, and really 5 minutes, it's a lot longer in the screencast world than it sounds like. So really making sure you know what you want to say and how you want to say it is important. Have fun, go in, you can trim, you can edit, speak clearly. If you mess up, all you do is you trash it and you do it again, right? It's not a big deal. If you are going to be using your webcam and have yourself in the corner, You can use it judiciously, turn it on, turn it off, if you want your students to see you, so that way they can really make that connection and build that community with you. And really, again, I mentioned this before, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're living in a very imperfect world right now, right? And so I think it also humanizes us and makes it us a little bit more accessible when things aren't just rote and memorized, when we're really showing our humanity, and that's what our students are going to connect with. So there's just some little tips and tricks there, but if you want some more, what I did is I created a screencast for all of these different areas for you. These are about anywhere between 1 to 3 minutes long, just to show you a very quick little screencast on these different areas. So we have direct instruction, providing feedback, how you could use this for subplans. And I tried to give you as many real life examples as possible going through here. So this is a little present from me to you in all of these little screencasts. And they're really easy for me to embed into my slide deck. And you can see here, if I click on one, it'll open it up. This is on personalized feedback. So when it opens up, this is what it's going to look like. And you can see, oh, that's a great picture. But this is what it looks like when the webcam is embedded. And if I click on play. Hello, everyone. So giving personalized and feedback clarity for your students is really, all right, I'm not going to show you the video right now, but you can see that when I started talking, I didn't have my webcam showing because I wanted my students, which are you, just to look at the grid and hear my voice. And then as I go through that very short presentation, I'll turn my webcam on, and you can do that really easily right through those annotation tools that I showed you before. And that way you can turn it on and off, and it kind of adds that little another dimension and layer to your screencast. So right here, when we're looking at these videos and as we're going through, in the chat, what I would love for you to do is just put what you think is one innovative way that you think that you can use screencasting this fall. Give you guys a second to do this.
Create direct instruction videos.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Direct instruction videos. And honestly, with direct instruction, and especially in that online atmosphere, sometimes the shorter the better. Sonal, are there some other ones coming in?
Oh, there's tons. Back to school presentation, front loading students, introducing yourself as a teacher, like a little welcome. I love that. App smashing and direct instruction. I love this one, read alouds. And, you know, Laurel mentioned our friend Ben Cogswell earlier. He does some amazing read alouds through screencasting and through Facebook. Explaining concepts, flipped classroom. I like that idea of them getting surface level instruction through video and then deeper level learning later on. And then lesson openers, asynchronous videos, giving parents directions, and then they like combining with Seesaw.
Oh, absolutely. One thing that I highly recommend, and I mentioned it before, is those back to school night little videos, but really talking to your parents about what the expectations are for your class, and also the technology piece, like making a quick screencast, walking them like, how do you log on? How do you find this? Where I'm housing that? That really helped me in my classroom. And I used Google Classroom, like I mentioned, the last few years, and I just pinned it at the top. I put video resources, and then I had all of the different, and I labeled them, you know, how to log into Q, how to check your grades, when are Mrs. Kirchhoff's office hours, like all of those things that sometimes we get those questions and our emails get really full really fast, and we could just really direct them to the resource area. So many ways that you can use Screencastify or just screencasting in general. one other thing I want to mention, and I know we're getting near the end of our time, which I can't believe it already, is that for professional development and staff meetings, I have this, imagine a world where maybe these quick tutorial videos could be made for teachers on your campus, right? I've helped out with some tech issues when I was on campus, and I would get people like, how do I get into my Flipgrid? How do I do this? How do I set this up? Where do I go for this link? So we started making these quick little video tutorials for teachers, and then we created a Google Classroom that was just for our staff, where everyone could go and get the materials. And it was really, really powerful. And it just was a really great way to help a lot of people and to save some time. And again, just like our students, as adults, we really appreciate being able to learn at our own pace and knowing where to go. So there's a lot you can do with staff meetings and professional development using screencasts. And that's one of the reasons like these sessions, you know, through Google Camp are being recorded, so that way you can go back to them later. So just want to hit the bonus round really fast. I'm not going to spend too much time here because having your students use Screencastify is always a question that Sonal and I get. How do we get our students to do this? Well, the very first things first, check with your IT department about installing the Google Chrome extension. That's something that the IT department would be able to push out, because I'm assuming, and I could be incorrect here, but I'm assuming your students do not have the ability to add Chrome extensions. So I would definitely talk with your IT department about that. Screencastify right now has a beta version of Screencastify Submit, where you can have them, you send a link to your students, they open the link, they create their screencast, and then it goes right back to you, and it's automatically uploaded to your Google Drive for your Google Classroom. Now, it's beta right now, and it's also free right now, but it looks like it's going to be a paid feature coming up. So if that's something that interests you, I don't want to spend too much of our time on it, but you can click on the link here. And I know Sonal's put the link to these slides a lot into the chat, and we'll do it again at the end, but just you can check it out if that's something that really interests you. So for the sake of time, I know that we're have like 2 more minutes, but I do want to thank you for coming to this presentation. You had a lot of great sessions to choose from, and in 50 minutes, it's really hard for us to just do anything except for scratching the surface of the session. But I do want to give you some more information about San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, opportunities that we have for you. We are going to be doing free webinars twice a month. We're calling it Webisode Wednesdays. And you can join into this free PD from myself and Sonal. We're going to be going all over all sorts of different topics, and we're also going to be having guest speakers from around San Bernardino and Riverside County come in and share their knowledge as well. So if you're interested in Webisode Wednesdays, you can find out more about it. Sign up for our newsletter. Our newsletter is free. We update it monthly, and we can give you a lot more information there. We also have some learning opportunities if you want to get your leading edge national certification on online and blended teaching. We are doing 10-week cohorts. We have a new one starting in September. They are taught by certified teachers. They're hands-on. It's an online course, and it covers, as you can see on the modules here, online and blended learning, accessibility, all of the things that you would want for teaching online. So if you'd like more information on that, we would be happy to give you more information on leading edge and becoming an online blended teacher. And you can get college credit for that. So wrapping this all up, there's a lot that's going on at San Bernardino County. Sonal and I comprise the entire digital learning services department. So we are always here to help. Please don't hesitate. And I know we have to end our session. So is there any last minute things from the chat, Sonal? And then I know Ileana.
Yeah, the chat was really busy. I had a lot of private messages as well, all positive, of course, and great questions. For that person that did ask me about YouTube closed captioning, I didn't manage to get off this to go search for that. So if you could send me an email, and I would be happy to send that over to you. I think it's really important that we do consider accessibility as we make these videos. So thank you so much for that question. That is it. Thank you, Laurel. It was amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Oh gosh, it felt like so fast and furious. And again, everything is all laid out for you in these slides, so I appreciate you being here. And I did see that there was a question about LMS. That means learning management system. So whatever you're using, like you know,
Google Classroom or Canvas.
Google
or
Classroom,
PowerPoint.
Canvas, Microsoft Teams, things like that. So sorry, there's so many acronyms, alphabet soup, right, in education. And Ileana, I think you needed to come back on.
Yeah.
All right,
Let me
it's all
share
good
my
to you.
screen real quick.
I can stop sharing.
And I just wanted to remind everyone to go and do the eval and go on SketchUp. You can do that there. And thank you for joining us. And this concludes our meeting. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much.
Okay, the third one sounds good.
Liana, there was a question about recordings. Where can they get the recording to this presentation? You might be able to
I
answer
think it's
that.
going to be attached to the SketchUp, but I'm going to.
Oh, okay. That was a good question. Yeah, I wasn't sure that either.
And I bet you the RCOE team will and make sure that they message
Yeah.
that across to you all. So thank
Yeah,
you.
they're going to send us an email and I'll forward you it. Bye.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye.